Soft, melancholic piano music begins like a distant memory. A faint smell of old paper and lavender hangs in the air. The tone is intimate, confiding. Honestly, darling, it feels almost vulgar to even speak of it. Such a wreckage of expectation. You see, some of us, we were raised to anticipate perfection. My grandmother, bless her soul, she'd say, a chipped teacup diminishes the entire afternoon. And Stella Palace Resort Crete. It wasn't a chipped teacup. It was the entire tea set shattered into a million irreparable pieces. You must understand, it's not about wanting luxury. It's about a fundamental understanding that when one pays for luxury, one is purchasing a certain elevation of experience. A promise, a sacred pact. And that, my dears, is where it all unraveled. I am a bit of a connoisseur, you see. My mother, she traveled with ambassadors, so I've always had a refined palate for ambience. And Crete, oh Crete. The island itself breathes history, whispers of ancient gods, the scent of wild thyme, it's intoxicating. One anticipates a mirroring of that beauty, a harmonious blend of culture and comfort. Instead, it felt like being dropped into a particularly garish fever dream. It started, ironically, not even at Stella Palace. We were staying at their sister hotel, Europe, which, let me assure you, already set the stage for disappointment. They'd overbooked the a la carte restaurant. Can you even imagine the audacity? So, as a favor, suggested we try Stella Palace. A favor, as if transferring one's misery to another establishment constitutes generosity. We, of course, dressed accordingly. One does not simply wander into a 5-star resort looking like one has just wrestled a bear. This is basic etiquette, but the moment we arrived, the illusion began to crumble. The lobby, was a cacophony of noise, a teeming mass of humanity. It felt less like an opulent entrance and more like the waiting room of a particularly busy dentist. And the front desk agent, merciless, absolutely merciless. I swear a smile evaporated from his face the second I uttered the words Hotel Europe. Like we were contaminants. Imagine a guest politely seeking a reservation made for them, being treated as if they'd asked for the moon. The sheer rudeness of it all, he didn't even attempt to understand. It's not my problem, he declared, as if his job description didn't include, assisting guests. It's a baffling concept, isn't it? Like a baker refusing to bake bread. What is the point of existing if not to offer basic courtesy? He clearly felt he was above assisting anyone who hadn't paid him directly. It's a level of arrogance I've only encountered amongst hedge fund managers and, well, certain relatives. Thankfully, a woman intervened, a beacon of sanity in a sea of incompetence. She managed to locate the reservation, but even then, this man, he interrupted her while she was speaking to us. Like a petulant child. The level of disrespect. Honestly, one half expected him to start throwing things. What kind of a person behaves like that? It's the kind that ends up running places like this, I suspect. A power complex disguised as customer service. And that, my dears, was merely the opening act. The room itself, oh, don't even get me started. The photos online, deceptive, utterly and irrevocably deceptive. It looked as though it hadn't been dusted since the Minoan civilization. And the housekeeping, a cruel joke. Linen with holes, towels that resembled sandpaper, milk that had clearly begun a fascinating experiment in fermentation. It's not merely about cleanliness, it's about a fundamental lack of respect.
Okay, so I was looking into, things happening near Stella Palace Resort in Crete, It's supposed to be this nice family place, but honestly, it's a bit much. Businesses around there, like restaurants especially, they have a way of adding things to your bill. It's like you just want a normal meal, a simple thing, but suddenly it's double the price. There was this group of British tourists, right? They ate in Malia, not far from Stella Palace, and their bill was over 200 for 4 people, a normal meal. And 60 of that was a service charge that wasn't on the menu. Can you believe that? They asked about it, of course, and the staff got aggressive. I bet they didn't get the money back, at least not easily. Probably filed a complaint, felt really angry and ripped off for the rest of their holiday. The restaurant. They likely kept doing it to other tourists. It's just, how can people do that and get away with it? Then there are the sunbeds. Like you want to enjoy the beach near Stella Palace, a little bit of sun, right? But someone will try charging you 25 for a front row spot when it's supposed to be only 8. It's ridiculous. They probably blocked anyone from leaving until they paid, honestly. I bet the tourists felt so helpless, just wanting to relax. They probably talked about how awful it was to everyone back home. The vendor probably just laughed and waited for the next people. And the menus? Oh, the menus. They show you one price outside, a nice little price to get you in. But once you're sitting down, it's a totally different menu with higher prices. And then they just add things to your bill. Bread you didn't ask for, expensive water, appetizers that were supposedly complimentary. A family in Malia actually got charged for food they didn't even order. Can you imagine? They had to call the police. I bet those people were so stressed, their whole vacation ruined. Honestly, the restaurant owner probably just paid a small fine or nothing at all and kept going. It's not just restaurants either, you know. Even the little shops, the mini markets near Stella Palace, they charge way more for everything. Water, snacks, stuff that's cheap everywhere else is like 3 or 4 times the price. It's not even illegal, but it's just taking advantage of people. They probably think, oh, they're tourists, they won't notice. I bet all it does is make people feel angry and resentful. Like really charging someone extra just because they ray on holiday. It's just sad, you know. It just feels really sad.
The reality of businesses near Stella Palace Aqua Park Resort, Crete. If you're staying at Stella Palace Aqua Park Resort, you might assume the surrounding businesses would match the resort's energy, polished, welcoming, worth your time. Unfortunately, the reality is different. The businesses here operate on a spectrum between disappointing and actively hostile to your wallet and well-being. Let's start with shopping, the area's shopping centers. More like construction sites with identity crises. Tarlo's Plaza, for example, is less a shopping destination and more a cautionary tale. Visitors arrive expecting a mall, only to find a handful of shops, half of which are permanently coming soon. The parking, a predatory €3 per hour, more expensive than downtown, just for the privilege of walking into a near-empty building with flickering lights and the ambience of a forgotten warehouse. One guest described it as the kind of place that makes you question if you accidentally wandered into a tax evasion scheme. Then there's the spa scene. Aegeos Spas promises relaxation but delivers frustration. Guests report aggressive upselling, hidden fees, and therapists whose skills suggest they trained via YouTube tutorials. One couple was charged full price after being told, after payment, that a 10 online discount existed, but it's not our job to tell you. Another guest left with a facial that turned their skin into a blotchy rebellion. The recurring theme: you'll pay luxury prices for service that feels like a hostage negotiation. Hungry. The restaurants near Stella Palace have a talent for turning meals into regrets. Wasabi Asian Fusion serves sushi that's less fresh catch and more culinary dare. Rolls arrive drowning in sauce. Fish tastes suspiciously like it's been introduced to the concept of refrigeration just moments before serving, and the aftermath often involves sprinting to the nearest bathroom. One guest's exclusive rolls were topped with what they described as microscopic fish confetti. Ocean Seaside, meanwhile, treats pricing like a magic trick. Menus omit the fact that steak is priced per 100g, turning a €14 meal into a €50 shock. Multiple groups report being scammed out of hundreds, with bills mysteriously inflating like a balloon in the sun. Even the hotels play dirty. Cook's Club Hersonissos has a recurring issue with theft. Guests report cash and jewelry vanishing, only for staff to shrug and say, should have used the safe. Others were charged €250 for damage they didn't cause, with threats of police involvement if they dared argue. The vibe: less welcome guest and more gotcha. The pattern here is hard to ignore. Businesses near Stella Palace Aqua Park Resort treat tourists less like guests and more like walking